Welcome to the introductory video for the lead conversion module inside the DemandTools Data Quality Suite by CRM Fusion. This module has the capability of comparing Salesforce.com leads versus Salesforce.com contact and account records in an effort to find leads that are already in the system as contacts. Let's take a look at the module and see how it helps us resolve this issue where we could potentially have marketing and sales reaching out to the same people because of duplicates in the cross-object situation. The lead conversion module can be found in the cleansing section of DemandTools right under the single table dedupe module. Now once we get into the module, the first thing we want to do is select which leads we want to compare. We can select leads by campaign, we can select them from a file, or we can select them from our dupe blocker app. Today I'm going to select leads based on conditions. You have the option to use all of your leads if you want, but for global enterprise companies with millions of records, there's often a need to narrow it down. For this example, I just want to look at my leads in the state of Florida, so I will select the state field and say starts with FL for Florida and add this condition. I'm going to do the same thing down here at the bottom and create conditions for which contacts and which accounts to compare against. You have the option to not use contacts or not use accounts if you just want to compare against contacts or just against accounts. Now by the highlighted tab, you can see I'm selecting which contacts to compare my leads to by making a condition to select my contacts on accounts in the billing state of Florida. If I select my accounts tab here and select use conditions over here on the right, I'm going to grab the same billing state field and say starts with FL, so I'm just comparing against accounts in the billing state of Florida. That's it for step 1. I'm comparing my leads in the state of Florida to my contacts and accounts with the billing state of Florida using conditions. Now on to step 2. In step 2, all I'm doing is selecting the fields I want to display in the final results. So right now I'm selecting fields for my leads to display, and they're showing up on the right of the screen as I select them. And down below there's a tab for contacts and a tab for accounts, and I'll do the same thing. So now that I have my leads field selected, I have my contact tab highlighted down here, and I'll do the same and select my fields to display for contacts. And now that I have my contact fields selected, I'll do the same for accounts by selecting the accounts tab up here. You see that that's highlighted. So now I'm selecting my fields to display for my accounts. Now let's move on to step 3, where we develop the matching conditions, which obviously determine what a match is between leads and contacts or leads and accounts. If we go ahead and add a contact matching step, we'll add our mapping conditions. Let's say which lead field to compare against which contact field. The first thing we're going to do is compare the company field on the lead against the account name for the contact. We're going to create another mapping condition for the first name on the lead and compare that to the first name on the contact. And we're going to make one more where we compare the email on the lead, and obviously we're going to compare that to the email on the contact. So now this match step is saying check in the database for contacts with the same company, first name, and email as these leads. If you find a match, don't convert those leads into a new contact, just merge that data into the existing contact. Now this is pretty good, but we can do better. Right now these are all matching exactly, but of course here in the lead conversion module we still have all of our mapping type algorithms available throughout DemandTools to help us match data that wouldn't traditionally match. So for instance, on this company name we can match based on the cleaned account name instead of exactly. This cleaned account name references our account cleaning list, which replaces certain values with others or removes suffixes and prefixes. So with this turned on, something like the Hewlett-Packard Company would match with just Hewlett-Packard. Now perhaps we'd want to do something similar with the first name field. Maybe we don't want to match exactly. Maybe we want to use our first name mapping type algorithm, which references our nickname list up here, which is also customizable. But this finds names like Abby and Abigail as a match, or Nick and Nicholas, and tons of others. These are just preset, most common names. We can still do better than all of this, though. We can use our fuzzy phonetics engine here, which would match similar sounding account names. We can use our transpose engine, so word order doesn't matter, and we can use our alpha clean engine to remove any extraneous characters that might get in the way of finding a match. Okay, so there is our first match step. That defines a match as a contact that has all three of these fields the same. Now before we add another match step, I'm going to rename this one the rigid match step because it's matching on three conditions. It's only going to match leads to contacts with all three of these fields in common. So we'll rename that one the rigid step. Matching on all three of those fields. And now I'll go ahead and add another contact match step. Perhaps for this one, I want to loosen up my definition of a match and say it's just where the email is the same. So I'll grab the email field on the lead and say it matches to the email field on the contact. And we'll leave that as an exact mapping type. These contact match steps will find where my leads already exist in the database as contacts, and if a match is found, convert that lead into the existing contact. I'm going to rename this step Contact Match on Email, and you can create as many steps as you want. For now, I'm going to go ahead and create an account match step, which will look for accounts that exist in the system with, for example, the company name or the city. And the goal here is that if we find an account match, to convert the lead into a new contact on that existing account. I've just created my first condition for this account step, matching on the company name. Now I'm going to select the city field on the lead to match to the account billing city. And I'm going to turn on some of my engines over here as well. For each step, I have conditions below here that allow me to choose which record to convert into if I find duplicate accounts or duplicate contacts. There's also lead settings, just like in Salesforce, if you want to change the lead status or overwrite the lead source. Here under ownership settings, you get to decide who you want the owner to be of the new contact. You can also spin off an opportunity if you would like. And finally, at the very bottom, what about notification settings? Should we send an email or create a task for the contact owner to tell them that an existing lead has been converted to their existing contact or account, and maybe they should do a follow-up? Also note that contact match steps always come before the account match step. In the final step here, we get to decide what we want to do with the leads that we don't find an existing contact or account for. Do we want to do nothing, or do we want to create a new contact and account? For this example, I'm going to leave it as do nothing because maybe I don't want to convert those leads yet that don't already have existing accounts until I follow up with them. Now on to step 4, where we'll find some matches. So here in step 4, I'm just going to find my matches now by clicking this Find Matches button. And DemandTools will communicate with Salesforce. Right now it's looking for leads in the state of Florida that match to existing contacts or accounts in the state of Florida based on the match conditions I set in the previous step. Here's my match results, all of my leads that match to existing contacts or accounts. You have the option now to review these results and select which ones you actually want to go through with the conversion or leave them unselected. Right now I have my leads grouped by which step they matched, but you can group these by any field. You can see how many leads matched in each group. You can also see this by clicking Found Match Report, and there you can see how many matches were in each step. I like the way these results look, so I'm going to go ahead and use this button to check all of my matches for conversion. and you can expand each match and see the record that it actually matched on. So there's a contact. This one actually matched on 2 contacts, so there's a duplicate. If you click the icon next to the record, it takes you out to Salesforce to view that record. So you can do the same for leads, contacts, and accounts by clicking that icon. And of course, down here in the account section, you can do all the same things. Notice, like the other modules in the DemandTools suite, lead conversion is scenario driven. So we can save this dedupe environment, and once we have the scenario developed, it can be deployed in with the rest of our data quality jobs. So we could have scheduled single table dedupes, inserts, upserts, and lead conversions all in the same data quality batch. In some cases, users may want to run the lead conversion module to identify but not convert any matching records. This Populate Account IDs button allows you to take any matched account IDs and directly populate them to a field on a lead record. Now all we'd have to do to execute these lead conversions is click Convert Checked Leads. So this has been the lead conversion dedupe module in the cleansing section of DemandTools by CRM Fusion. Thank you for your attention.